Is this thing on? Disasters can happen at any time, weather or man-made. And you never know when it's going to hit, and you never know how bad it's going to be. But will you be prepared? Let's take a look at the options you have today with the top 5 weather radios that you can buy right now on Amazon. So these are the top 5 weather radios that Amazon sells in terms of volume of sales. Over here we have the first one is the emergency radio with NOAA weather alert, portable solar hand crank AM/FM radio for survival. This one is the second one we're going to look at. It's the FosPower emergency weather radio model A1. The third one is the emergency crank weather radio 4000 milliamp solar hand crank portable AM/FM NOAA radio. The fourth one is the red emergency hand crank radio with LED flashlight. And the last one, same manufacturer as our first one, it's the yellow emergency radio Raynic 5000 weather radio solar hand crank AM/FM SW NOAA weather alert radio. Let's get started. Let's start taking these apart one at a time. We're going to start with the first one. Let's get this one open. Let's take a look at this first weather radio. And again, this is the, take a look at the notes here, emergency radio with NOAA weather alert, portable solar hand crank AM/FM radio for survival, rechargeable battery powered radio, USB charger, flashlight, reading lamp for home outdoor use. Quite a title. Let's take a look at this guy. It is packaged pretty nicely. It comes with a USB micro cable. It comes with a looks like an aluminum carabiner, and we've got. Hey, don't hit that button. That is the SOS button here on the edge. And apparently it's powered up and ready to go. Also comes with a user manual. We'll see what we can do without the user manual. We may have to reference that in just a moment. The specs on this radio include 5000 milliamp rechargeable battery. It's charged via the micro USB cable that comes with the radio. It is a solar charging radio. It's a very small solar panel. I wouldn't imagine it charge it very fast. It does have a hand crank here on the back. It pops out. Fairly easy to turn. Has a USB output for charging. Let's see, where's that USB output for charging? Okay, it's got a weatherproof cover on it. So it's got the micro USB input and the standard USB-A output, and it has a jack for headphones as well. It has a 3-watt LED light here. The button to turn it on is on this side, flashlight's on this side. There's the light. Has a bright and then a lower level and then off. And it does have an SOS light mode. So let's take a look at these different settings here. I'm going to switch cameras just a moment. Okay, so this radio, when I turn it on with the knob here, and the light lights up. And we can extend the antenna. This is one feature that every radio should have. As an amateur radio operator, I know how important it is to have an antenna that you can extend away from the radio and have some kind of tuning ability to make it more resonant on whatever frequency we're referring to. This is the LED light that's on the inside underneath the solar panel. It's turned on and off with this button here. The on-off button for the radios here, and you have a tuning ability. FM mode.
Now we're going to talk about
there's AM mode and SW mode. Let's see what we can pick up on SW mode. Well, I'm not picking up very much on the SW mode. That simply could be because of the fact that I'm inside. All right, let's go to the weather band. And you have, for weather band, there are notches, the channels are listed here, and you just turn it. The antenna is fully extended, and I'm not touching it, and we still don't have much of a signal here on 7. Now, if I hold the antenna, I become part of the antenna, and we pick up a signal, which indicates to me that this antenna is not tuned properly for the weather band. So maybe tuning it in and out would help. Let's see. Okay, so you can switch it to power with AAA batteries if you have those and your battery runs out. So in an emergency, having multiple power sources is a good idea. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and we'll look at the container here. It takes 3 AAA batteries, very easy to access. The crank, I imagine, would be when you have it on lithium ion mode. You'd crank it to generate the power. You have an indicator with a red light here as you're cranking it that it's generating power. I won't bore you with cranking a radio, but that's how it works. So overall, I think the construction is pretty good. I do like the fact that it's rechargeable, has a light. You have multiple bands to choose from, not just weather radio. So that's always good if you want to listen to local traffic on the SW mode, assuming you can get a signal. So let's move on to the next radio. Okay, radio number 2 is the FosPower radio. This particular one is listed as a emergency weather radio model A1, NOAA AM/FM with 2,000 milliamp, 7,400 milliwatt hour portable power bank, USB solar hand crank charging, battery operated, SOS alarm, and flashlight for indoor-outdoor emergencies. Let's get it open. All right. So this one has a 2,000 milliamp hour battery. It is USB chargeable. Also comes with a carabiner like the previous one. This particular one feels like it's made of steel. It's very heavy. And probably the quality is a little bit better, but it is very heavy compared to the other one. This particular unit also charges with micro USB. It comes with a USB-A to micro USB cable. And it comes with, let's see, what is this? A thank you. This is a thank you lifetime warranty. This is, I believe, one of the few that has an actual lifetime warranty on the device. Most of the others have a limited warranty. And it comes with the manual. Let's take a look at the details on this particular unit as I switch to the overhead cam. Okay, let's take a look at the details from the overhead cam. This particular unit does have a solar panel. Looks very similar to the previous model in terms of size. Let's see, does it open? It does open up. Oh, okay. So this one doesn't have a button for its reading light. You just open it and the light comes on. That's pretty nifty. All right, then you have a button to turn on the flashlight. It looks like it's fairly weatherproof. It's rubber sealed. And it's not super bright, but it'll get the job done in an emergency for sure. This particular one does not, oh, it does say 1 watt LED, so it is going to be not quite as bright as the previous model. IPX3 rating, whereas the previous one was IPX6. So the weatherproofing on this one is not quite as good. It does have the AAA option along with the lithium ion option. We have weather band, FM and AMs. See any other interesting features? We have the SOS mode on the bottom, and I'll have to look at the manual to see what that other option is. It looks like power, a power option of some sort. All right, so in the flap here on the side, you have your charging and to charge up the device, and then you have your USB-A to charge a cell phone or other USB powered device. All right, this is the hand crank. I would say the quality feels about the same. I do feel a little more resistance on this particular model. I'm not sure if that's going to produce more power quickly, but I do like the way this one feels better. Let me close that back up. And here is your case for your AAA batteries. 3 AAA batteries again, same as the previous model. And we have, let's go ahead and turn it on and see what we can do here. Volume on. It is on lithium ion mode. There we go. This one does have an expandable antenna. It just comes out of the back here, and then you can rotate it around. Much smaller in size than the other one, but let's see if we can pick up a weather band. All right, let's try another one. So we can pick up a weather band. We do pick up a weather band with this radio without me touching the antenna, which is a good thing. I would say this one is performing better for the weather band than the previous model. And let's check the FM mode.
We're finding it very, very compelling, like a page turner, except it's a podcast instead of a...
Just based on those two alone, I would say that this receiver is much better on the FosPower than the previous model. It is able to pick up the stations much more clearly, and I'm not having to touch the antenna to get a reception on the weather band. First impressions, this radio is probably going to be a better bet. Let's collapse the antenna back up into itself. That's pretty nice, so we don't have it exposed. And then I'll have to look and see what these options here on the bottom. Okay, according to the manual here, the buttons on the bottom are the SOS emergency, alarm switch, the radio on switch, and USB power bank. So we have, as you can see here, that is not SOS, that's just an alarm. It's not broadcasting any kind of actual Morse code SOS or anything of that nature. And then we have the power bank mode, which I'm assuming would allow you to utilize the USB to charge up your devices. We'll go back to the radio mode, which is the middle switch. I do notice here with the LED, you have an option to zoom it in, which would allow you to focus the beam. That can come in handy. Overall, this is a pretty decent unit. I do like the ability for it to just flap open and light on, light off. You don't have to worry about accidentally leaving that on. You still have the option for AAA batteries, and in an emergency, you can pick up your weather bands and your FM stations very well with this particular radio. All right, this is the third radio that we're going to review. This is one that's listed as an emergency crank weather radio 4000 solar hand crank portable AM/FM NOAA with 1 watt 3-mode flashlight and motion sensor reading lamp. That'll be interesting to test out. And then a cell phone charger SOS for home and emergency use. It does have a 4,000 milliamp battery, a micro USB charge, solar charge, hand crank. Comes with an 18-month warranty, AM/FM NOAA frequencies. Let's take a look here. This particular one does come with the same style cable, USB-A to USB micro. I've got an extra little, oh, look at that little package. It has an adapter. Looks like it's, let's take a look. It is a micro USB adapter to a what would be the Apple charger for the modern Apple devices, non-USB-C. This is the Apple proprietary connector. And so you would only need to have this one cable with you to charge your Apple devices if that's what you have. It's pretty handy. Let's see what else is in the box. This green radio, and we get a thank you card and the user manual. All right, let's switch over to the overhead and take a closer look. Okay, this particular unit, like I said, has a 4,000 milliamp battery, so it's one of the larger of them. The first one we reviewed had a bigger one, but this is significantly sized. The dial on the front is pretty primitive. It's just a tuning dial. It has notches, it feels like, on there, so it doesn't bump out of tune. I think that's what that was intended for. It has weather band, FM, and AM mode. It has an SOS button, and it has the solar on top. Let's flip it open. The light comes on when you open it up. That's handy. We have light and an auto mode. So I've put it on auto mode. I would imagine that that would be the motion sensor that kicks it on. Not quite sure how that's supposed to work, but pushing the button turns it on. You have multiple modes, and to put it on light, it operates the same. Okay, so there might be a motion sensing mechanism. Maybe I'm not letting it sit long enough, but either way, there's a light on it, and it has a pretty significant light. I'll take the cover off here. So it's got the middle light here, and then it's got very, very bright LEDs that shine on either side of that main LED. So very impressive light on this particular unit. Won't be going in the dark with this one. It does have a battery level indicator. That's kind of nice. So it has 25 to 100%. And let's check out the crank on this one. A very long handle, get more leverage with it, but means your arm is going in a further circle here for the radius. And I'd say it feels pretty natural. Most of these do require quite a bit of effort in terms of time to crank the battery, but I will tell you that it's better than not having it. If you need it, it's better to have it. Let's see here. We've got USB, and same as the others we've reviewed, they've got a micro USB and a USB-A, and your power out from the USB-A. It does have an external antenna. Let's turn this thing on and see what we've got. And extend the antenna up all the way, and we'll turn it on.
Disposal their hands for free. You got hit, but we were targeted.
Monday, sunny, hot with highs in the upper 80s. Southward to 10 miles an hour to 15 miles an hour. And Monday night, partly cloudy.
Okay, so far, it picks up the station when my hand is touching the radio. So for it to, if I take my hand away, it no longer picks up the station. This is the weather band. What that tells me is that the antenna is not sufficient to pick up the band. I am actually acting as the antenna when I get close to the unit. Let's see if there's another weather band to pick up. No, it's just the one weather band that I'm capturing indoors here.
Thursday, mostly sunny.
Let's try to retune it.
Chance of showers.
No.
The showers in the afternoon.
No.
50s.
I definitely have to have my hand close to this unit for it to pick up the station. Let's try AM. Let's see what we get on AM.
We have the Lexus GX500S and the Monster
Okay.
GX5.
So that one works pretty well without having my hand near it. I still can pick up the station. So I would say AM works pretty well. And then we'll switch back to FM, and we'll go back over here.
Music there, Blur with The Narcissist right before.
Again, FM is working pretty well without having my hand very close to the unit. So I think weather band, you have to be holding it for it to work, which you may be doing anyway. If you're in a weather situation, you want to be close to the unit. This particular radio is listed as an IPX3 weatherproofing, which is not the best, but better than nothing. And overall, I would think this would be sufficient to pick up a weather station if you're in an emergency. And it, like I said, I like the fact that it's got a power indicator, so you know if you need to crank it. And it'll tell you, how much reserve power you have if you want to charge a device. The intense LED light is also very handy if you need to go outside for any reason in the dark, as would produce plenty of light for that. So overall, a pretty good pick. Let's see. So as I say that, I turned the radio off and we still have the power indicator. Let's see if there's another way to turn this unit off without... Let's see if I leave it on the ground, does it know I'm not messing with it and the power meter go off? I'm not sure. I would hate for it to have these power indicator lights on all the time, which would run the battery down. So I'll get back to you and let you know if that ever turns off. All right, just as I cut off the camera, of course, the power level indicator did go off. So I think we're good there. It's not going to run the battery down. It just stays on for a while for you to see what it is, which is quite handy. Even with the unit in an off position, when you open up the solar panel, the LED light does come on, which initiates the power level indicators again. Overall, pretty good build. I do like a lot of the features on here that give you indications of power level, and the tuner's not bad. It's a primitive tuner with just a knob. So overall, a decent pick. This is the fourth radio out of the 5 best-selling weather radios on Amazon. Let's take a quick look at this very small package to see how it compares to the other models. This one is a 2000 milliamp hour battery, USB charge, solar charging, hand crank, USB output charging, 1 watt LED, AM/FM NOAA radio, 18-month warranty. Comes in some bubble wrap. It's very, very small compared to the other units. Let's set that one there. And I got a thank you card. It does also come with a micro USB. Actually, I take that back. This particular one, where's the USB? Here it is. Yep, it is micro USB A, USB A to micro USB, and then it comes with an adapter. So it is a micro USB adapter to the Apple charger. So you can charge your Apple device from this right out of the box. You don't need to purchase any additional components. If you're using any device that uses USB-C, provide your own cable. All right. As you can see, compared to my hand, this unit is very, very small, easy to carry around. How that translates to its performance, I'm not sure. We'll find out. Just real quick, going through the crank motions, very good resistance on there. As far as the feedback, I think all of these are going to be about the same on the crank. Let's see, this antenna pops out and it extends pretty well. We'll see if that actually translates to a good signal on the radio. Note the solar on this radio does not flip out, so there's no LED under it like the other models. It's just built into the unit there. It has a flashlight button on the top, so I'm going to click on that. Let's see. Well, do we have an on-off button to enable that? So you have a wideband, weather band, FM, AM, and a volume button. So let's turn the volume on. Then flashlight doesn't work. I think we have a dead battery, unless there's a different switch. It does have the USB micro and the USB-A, just like the other units, with a little weatherproof cover on it. No other buttons on this unit, so no options to add AAA batteries. My guess is that it's needs to be charged out of the box. The others came with some charge, so I was able to test them out. So let's give it some charge and then we'll be back. Okay, we got a little bit of a charge on this unit that we were trying to get some power to, and it does come on. And then the weather band. Let's get the antenna pulled up and see what kind of signal we get here. Okay, so as you can tell, like some of the other units, when you have a weak signal, in your weather band wherever you live, you may have a better luck picking up the signal when your hands are close to the unit, because you'll act as an antenna for the unit. Let's go through some of the other features on this unit. I imagine the receive is going to be similar for FM. Let's give it a try. Actually, the FM receive is pretty good. It allows to pick up the signal without having touched the radio. Let's flip to AM. Yep. Same for AM. AM and FM seem to be pretty good. It's just the weather band that we don't have the best coverage in weather band where I am. But normally when I have my actual radio hooked up, I can pick it up fairly easily. All right, so let's look at the other features on here. The LED light. Okay, it has a single on-off. There's no dimming on this particular model. The USB is USB micro and USB A, and the flap does not really stay together on there. So I would say if you're going to carry this with you outdoors, camping or otherwise, make sure you keep this in a weatherproof bag of some sort. Ziploc bag, just to keep it out of the weather until you need it. But overall, very small package and very simple operation weather radio. All right, this is the last radio. So this is the 5th radio we're looking at, and it's listed as the yellow emergency radio Raynic 5000 weather radio solar hand crank AM FM SW NOAA weather radio, portable radio with cell phone charger, headphone jack, flashlight, reading lamp, and SOS alarm. All right, we'll get the wrap off of the box. And let's take a look. We have a micro USB cable, standard A to micro USB, like the rest of them. And this one, however, comes with a power brick. This is the first one we've seen that actually comes with a USB charging brick. That's different. All right, then we have what feels like an aluminum carabiner, and it's already stuck. So take it for what it's worth. But it's a carabiner, so you can attach it to something. All right, we got a user manual. We have some more packaging, and here's the unit. And that's everything in the box. All right, this unit, you can see size compared to my hand. Still handheld size, but just a little bit bigger than some of the others. It does have a strap on the top with an external antenna. And the light, this is one issue that you may have with this. There's a button on the side, just like the first unit we reviewed, that you turn this light on and off that's under the solar panel. And so you can accidentally leave the light on and not know it. So with the door open, I'll hit the button again. You see the light comes on, and then it's the second level down and then off. So I want to make sure you leave that off, or else you're going to have what I would refer to as a dead weather radio, which is not good when you actually have a emergency situation. All right, let's switch over to the overhead and check out this weather radio with all of its fancy buttons on the front. Okay, so this weather radio, running through the specs one last time, we have a 5,000 milliamp battery. I think that's one of the largest of the set of radios we've reviewed. USB charge, solar charging, hand crank, USB output charging. It can run on AAA battery, excuse me. It has a 3-watt LED flashlight, AM/FM, NOAA radio, and it's IPX3 rated. This arm for the crank is shorter, which means it's going to be easier to go in a faster RPM, but less leverage. And it's kind of wobbly compared to the other models. I'm not sure if that's going to be an issue or not. It feels pretty sturdy. I probably wouldn't have an issue with that. I'm going to fold that back down. Here's our trap door for our 3 AA batteries. And on the top is the solar panel, which is the same size as the others, fairly small. It would take quite some time to charge a battery, I would imagine, with that. The light underneath that we've already looked at. And let's see, what else do we have on this one? The light on the side, so we'll hit the light button. And there's your 2 different modes and off. And the SOS. Again, that's not actually Morse code SOS, it's just an alarm. So that is, I guess, would get somebody's attention if you have a problem. So let's look at the buttons here. We have no other buttons on this unit, and under the flap is the USB. It does have an audio jack if you want to hook up headphones and listen to it. Not all weather radios have that feature, but that's kind of nice to have. Let's see if we can get this closed back up. Well, it's not wanting to go back together. Let's see if we can get it in there. All right, well, the IPX rating, which is IPX3, may not hold up if we can't get the flap back on. It doesn't seem to want to go back together. But in any case, and the power button on the front, it is a digital interface. This is the first one of this model, or this style, that we've reviewed. And so let's take a look. We've got the band, which the weather band here.
Not expected. The ultraviolet index forecast for February 25th is 6. The current time is 3:12 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right, so the weather band does pick up pretty well without me touching the radio, which indicates that the antenna is doing its job, and the receive on this device is pretty good. Let's move over to the, let's see, it's the band button. If I hit it again, we go to FM. So let's tune to a local station. Holding it down. All right. Let's see what we got here. So volume up. Let's tune to another station here. I will say that the broadcast pickup is very good on this unit. We'll go to the band. Again, that's AM. Let me go back to AM. You have to double click on the band to get it to move to the next one. So I don't think there's a scan feature. If I hold it, it just goes until I let go of it. So it's not a scan feature. And the digital screen is a nice touch. It probably consumes more battery, so keep that in mind. This does have one of the largest batteries, but also having the screen would consume more power than the ones that do not have the screen, the more simple models. Just something to keep in mind. So overall, this has quite a few features. The interface with the buttons is a nice touch. I don't think it's required for a weather radio, but it is what it is, and it seems to work. The weather alert, or let's see. So the way that works is that if the unit is powered on, then and there's a weather alert that comes out, the radio will pick up that weather alert and let you know that something's going on. So you don't have to sit there and monitor it. It just will sit there and quiet until there's an alert that comes over the airwaves. I don't think the other models have that. Those are the manual dial units, don't have the weather alert feature. Keep in mind, as I'm trying to put this on, I'm accidentally hitting all the buttons, which, you know, if you don't mean to hit the SOS button and you wake up the whole family thinking there's an emergency, what is it doing now? All right, overall, I think that this unit is pretty nice. It's got the push buttons as opposed to the knobs like on the previous models. It's got a large battery to charge your devices. If it wasn't for this weather cover that just keeps popping off on its own, it does not stay on. I would say this is a pretty good unit. It has a good receive feature on it. It can pick up the weather bands and the AM/FM signals very well. So overall, probably the nicest build quality unit. All right, let's do a final recap here. Of all of the radios, I would rate FosPower #1 on receive and the radio functionality with the hidden antenna. The second one would be the probably the digital or the analog version of this yellow radio. So we'll put those here. The next would be the green one, which would get you by in a pinch. And it has a great flashlight on it, so that's a really good feature on this particular radio. And then an honorable mention, this is a special case radio. It's very inexpensive. I think it's $19 on Amazon. So for $19, you get a radio that does give you the ability to receive weather alerts. It has a flashlight, it has a crank, and I don't know how effective this little solar panel would be, but it does have those features. So for $18, just something to throw in your drawer, this would work. Again, if you want something that's going to be reliable and be able to always get a good signal, I would go with that FosPower as pick #1. And the price difference is not very great between all these radios. We go from $19 on this one to $30 for the FosPower. And all of them fall within that range. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.